The time, early February 1993. The place, a small farm in northeast Iowa. The mission, training and preparing 9 dedicated people and a champion team of Belgian horses for a trip across the width of America, from Maine to California. David Helmuth, the driver and wagon master, began learning his trade as a young Amish boy, working draft horses on his father's farm in Iowa. He will quarterback this challenging effort, the first ever attempt to cross America with a 6-horse hitch. Early each winter morning, in cool and sometimes frigid weather, the 6 horses are worked out, just 2 at a time, so this talented teamster can pay closer attention to each individual horse, to check and correct its performance, to note its health and conditioning, but perhaps most importantly, to improve the communication between driver and horse, or as David says, to help us think alike. This film covers the first segment of this historic journey, so sit back and relax. Better yet, climb up in the seat with us for the ride of all rides and the trip of all trips on Country's Reminisce Hitch. While the hitch was wintering near Waverly, Iowa, the horses and the pending trip became a pretty popular topic among folks in this small town area. Sensing this and appreciating their thoughtfulness, David and the crew decided to hold an open house. Over 2,400 people showed up. Everyone wanted to ride, of course, so with limited time and just 12 seats on the wagon, the 12 oldest people in the crowd were given the first ride. Did they enjoy it?
Once in a lifetime, man.
Yeah, I sure did. I never did.
I had a wonderful ride. It's the day of my life again. When you get to my age and you want to see something like this, something that I've had all my life, and now I've had a ride back of a good head. That's what I like. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The team had obviously already begun its mission, pulling for seniors. The training was finished. The team and crew were ready. It was time to load up and head for Maine, to the starting point at Kennebunkport. As the caravan headed out, publisher Roy Ryman explained why he and his company decided to organize and sponsor this trip.
I've always loved horses, especially draft horses, which stems from growing up on an Iowa farm. And I kind of grew up during that in-between era of agriculture that is in between horses and tractors. And my dad had a team of horses around on our farm long after other people had gone to high-powered equipment. And I loved to ride up in front of the wagon with my dad. And now and then he'd hand me the lines to those horses. I guess I've been sort of holding on those lines and the great memories that went with them ever since. So I'm doing this trip partially in memory of my dad and probably in memory of a lot of other dads like him who must have, people who still look back to those early times when honest, hardworking agriculture. But I'm doing it for another reason too. My dad taught me more than just how to drive horses. My mom and dad taught me that there were certain values, there were the right thing to do at certain times, and I was taught that if you are blessed with success, then you have some obligation to give back to the community that helped you become successful. So this trip across America with this hitch is a chance to give back to a community of more than 7 million subscribers who have supported us over the years. This really as much or more their hitch than ours.
Just prior to Easter Sunday, the hitch arrived in Kennebunkport. It was the first look at the Atlantic for many of the crew, who took in the local sights, adjusted to the East Coast atmosphere, and picked up the local accents. People here kept saying how much they loved the hosses. On Easter morning, they took part in a special sunrise ceremony right next to the edge of the ocean, followed by an Easter breakfast at the local church. It was the first of many invitations to join us for a meal. They'd be hearing that often in the months ahead. Finally, it was time to begin this historic trip. People wished the crew and horses well. Some even kissed them. Then David headed for the surf to make it an official coast-to-coast trip from sea to sea by prancing the Belgians through the waters of the Atlantic. From the surf, he headed up over the sand dunes and began the trip west, way west. Even when it was raining, and it rained a lot during the first few weeks of the trip, the New England scenery was beautiful, especially its countryside and its quaint, charming towns. People of all ages were waiting and eager to ride. The hitch stopped at senior centers all along the way, but at one nursing home in New England, when it was too rainy for the folks to come outdoors, David took Stoney, Firestone's brother, indoors, right into the lobby of the nursing home. Stoney even checked in at the reception desk to see if his name was spelled correctly. This giant horse weighs over a ton. His feet slid on the tile floor, and his ears nearly touched the 8-foot ceiling.
He is huge.
How he looks. Now what we do with him is we braid him.
Oh, pretty, pretty.
These huge horses have a special tolerance for children and elderly people. The residents love the visit, and Stoney seemed to relish the attention he received. Later, crew members Vicki Thompson and Steve Zabornik went to a nearby senior center and taught the residents some new country line dancing steps. The crew did this sort of thing at many senior center stops along the way. Each day starts differently, but one thing never changes. The horses always come first. Their health, their welfare, their appearance is the primary concern. And each morning they're prepared to look their best for a brand new audience. The weather was still wet and bone-chilling cool, but the crowd still turned out to see their horses and to ride whenever possible. The specially designed wagon holds 12 people, and the paint on the seats had worn thin after just a few weeks. The sudden appearance of these 6 huge horses makes everyone curious. Everyone. The architecture of New England churches never failed to fascinate the crew. One church seemed more charming than the other. winding New England back roads provided beautiful scenery, even during the mild but wet weather that continued early in the trip. When you cover only 10 miles or so a day, crossing a state line becomes a more meaningful achievement, and the crew let out lusty cheers whenever they crossed another border. One of the more memorable days in Massachusetts was the day the hitch crossed the famous French King Bridge. And the scenery keeps changing as the hitch heads west. One afternoon, David explained how to drive the hitch.
Hold on, everybody. Here we go. You got your seat belts on? We have 6 reins, 1 per horse. The top rein is always the lead horse. Middle rein is always your swing team. Your bottom rein is always your wheel team. Now, when I want to turn a horse, first thing I got to turn is my lead team. And I cannot let the wheel team know that I'm ready to turn the lead team so they don't all turn in the same motion. You want them to turn almost like in a circle. So when I'm going to do that is I will pull back about 2 inches and then I will pull, and that will bring my lead team over. I always say an inch is about 10 feet because they will take it that fast, especially a quick responsive team like this is. You have to drive them. These horses will pretty much go wherever you're going to guide them. You can use voice commands like I always do. If I want them to trot, I'll say team. If I want them to walk, I'll say walk. Team! They're off. Walk. Walk, boys. Now we're down to our walk. The reason that I want them to walk is I want these guys, for this 10 miles that we do each day, to be just as hardy as they can be when we get there. And that means by pulling them back and just kind of letting them be pumped up all the time, it seems like they just wear better. And also, of course, it shows a lot more pride in them than if you just run them and wear them down.
I'm very excited about this trip. We're usually in cars and we're usually going 65 and moving along, and we just kind of fly by things. But I kind of like this slow pace because you can actually see everything in great detail. You don't miss any signs. You read every sign, and I always look at the fields around us and see the different crops of corn and grain growing. I love to go past houses and see the little kids out playing in their swings or flopping around in a swimming pool. I love to pass all these vehicles and they slam on their brakes and pull over in the ditch in front of us and start waving.
There's nothing in the world I'd rather do than what I'm doing right now. This is not only showing the horses, it's taking a trip across America and sharing everything with all the people. And after all, it takes all these people to make it happen. And it's just totally awesome. Totally awesome.
Also totally awesome are these 6 beautiful Belgians, which were rated the top 6-horse hitch in America last year. David personally screened over 80 horses while putting this hitch of all hitches together. It's no wonder people of all ages are so impressed when they see them up close. The trip offers David and the crew an opportunity to give some of the background of draft horses, about the contributions of draft horses to the growth of this country back when horsepower was limited to real horsepower, and helps bridge the gap between seniors and children. Since groups of seniors and school children often turn out at the same time to see the team, David has a chance to tell the children about days when some of these seniors drove big horses just like this, what life was like back then, how these older people worked to provide many of the things these children enjoy today. It's a sight these children will likely long remember. Through this, the children get some live history lessons. Sometimes they even get to help drive the team, if not always on course. These are the kind of things memories are made of, for young and old alike. Part of what makes this trip so interesting for the crew is the people they meet along the way, such as country yodeler Kenny Roberts.
Here's my most requested yodeling song. She taught me how to yodel. I went across to Switzerland where all the yodelers be to try to learn to yodel with the yodel-doo-doo-doo. I climbed a big high mountain on a clear and sunny day. I fell in love with a yodeling gal and could not get away. Oh, she taught me to yodel. She taught me to yodel. King of the yodelers.
With people who love life and what they do as much as Kenny, the problem is sometimes how to break away and continue on down the road. And the road and rural scenery are as beautiful as the people they meet, especially in the morning, as the crew and the horses awaken, stretch, and prepare for another day. It's especially peaceful before the crowds begin arriving. On this particular morning, Country's Reminisce Hitch wasn't the only hitch out and about in this placid place. A young couple appeared from a side road. Their path crossed that of our huge hitch. They and the crew exchanged quiet morning waves before both continued on their way. In every small town, people wait to wave and hopefully to ride. As David says, it's just miles of smiles wherever we go. It's a new audience every day, and gradually the crew notices the changing accents of people they meet as they move farther west, and they note the change in architecture as well. Thanks to the specially designed wagon, loading and unloading riders is done easily and safely. A hidden ladder is slid out from below the floor, and handrails provide additional safety. In some small towns, the crew is greeted and toasted with an appropriate country drink, fresh lemonade.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Morning.
We need refreshment after that long trip.
at the end of a day's drive, the crew is often invited to sit down and chat a spell on someone's front porch. Next day, Vicki and David are back on the road again for another busy day, passing more of the beautiful scenery along rural back roads, packing up tents and gear from last night's encampment, being offered more food, even homemade pie by people along the way, before setting up the next night's campsite. The crew meets friendly, smiling people every day, and today they meet the director of the country's oldest continuous band.
I am Stan Smithers, the president and director of the Sheldon Falls Military Band, located in Sheldon Falls, Massachusetts. This band is said to be the oldest continuous band in the United States, being organized in 1835, and the band has played every year since that time, and we will be starting our 158th season this June. We have some of the high school boys and girls come down and play with us, and we have members who are in their 80s. But this building was built, as I understand it, approximately in 1907. There are pictures here dating way back to the Civil War. We have antique instruments on the wall that were played back in the 1870s. There are pictures here from all ages, from, as I say, the Civil War days, right up through to the present. Look at, this is me in 1958 when we were celebrating our 125th anniversary. This picture was taken at the end of the famous Bridge of Flowers. At that time I was solo clarinet player in the band. And that's about it, I guess.
That may be about it, Stan, but the crew found it amazing to have heard a concert by a band that's played every year since 1835. Of course, since our crew loves to eat, they love their visit to Gould's Sugar House for pancakes and maple syrup. One of the owners provided them with this bit of background.
My name is Edgar A. Gould. I live in Shelburne, Mass. I'm a farmer. I've always been a farmer. I'm an ancestor of one of the older families in town. We traced this back to our original ancestors established on this property in 1775 with the grant from the, I don't know whether the grant came directly from the king or what, but it stayed in the family ever since then. Harvest of maple syrup is made in the spring, while most crops are harvested in the fall of the year. So when winter begins to let go and spring comes, the temperatures begin to fluctuate up and down by the freezing point. That's when the maple tree becomes active and starts producing or running the sweet sap up and down the tree. It takes about 40 gallons of that sap fresh from the tree to boil down to make 1 gallon of finished maple syrup. We decided the public would like to see these older things and an old occupation, and so far it's been successful.
The people come up here from New York City for breakfast, and they also come very often from Hartford, Springfield, even Providence, Rhode Island, just to come up for breakfast. Breakfast is late, some mornings it's their lunch, but they come for breakfast. We have 4 generations of families coming. The great-grandparents even found us back in 1960, and they're coming with babies right now with great-grandchildren because they want them to be part of Gould's Sugar House. It's a family affair to come here. We have one customer that's 102 years old. We have another faithful customer that's 92, and he comes every single week on Friday for his pancakes.
The crew also met another talented rural person along the way.
My name's Becky Ashenson. And I'm a musician and I'm a weaver. I do mostly traditional weaving with fine threads in traditional patterns. I get inspired from a lot of ethnic traditions in different countries. This is a colonial overshot coverlet. This is a very traditional kind of thing from New England. I mostly do this by myself, but I've got an apprentice that works with me about twice a week. I was born and raised in Shelburne Center. It's a beautiful place to live, and there's great people around here. And the more I saw of the world as I was growing up, the more I realized I loved it right here and wanted to stay.
Again, when you meet such fascinating people, it's hard to break away. But there's miles of road ahead and lots of homework to be done. The horses get new shoes every 6 weeks. An experienced farrier, the same who does Budweiser's hitches, visits the team regularly and custom fits the shoes to each horse. With the Belgians sporting new shoes, it's time to hit the road again and appreciate the unique scenery of each area. But hitting the road involves a lot of work for the Hitches 9-person crew. Semi-driver Don Garrett explains a bit of what's involved each day to get on the road.
First thing we do in the mornings, we get the horses ready to go and hitch on the road. And then we tear down. There's 5 of us that tear down and load the tent, stalls, and all the other equipment that we've got into the truck and trailer. And then we move on to the next stop before the horses get there. We pass the horses on the road, and then we set this up again after we get there. The tent, the trailer, the stalls and everything, and try to be ready for the horses when they arrive. So we're having fun because we're traveling. We see a new place every day and new people, and it's interesting.
What helps make each day interesting is the generosity of people along the way, some of whom invite, in fact often urge the crew to let the horses enjoy their pastures and barns during the afternoon and evening hours. Some of the local animals obviously find a visit by these huge strangers to be awfully interesting too. And the Belgians, free of their harnesses and responsibilities for a few hours, make the most of these moments, playfully galloping and frisking about the open pastures, often acting more like untrained colts than the highly skilled champions that they are, as members of the #1 6-horse hitch in America. A feature of this night's stay at Hancock Shaker Village was the unique and beautiful round stone barn. Not only do the horses enjoy this respite, but obviously the crew enjoys a little quiet now and then, watching this great team of Belgians enjoying a well-deserved break, thanks to the generosity of a subscriber along the route. Again, the sun sets on the farm, a scene the crew will long remember. While 99% of the trip is routed along rural highways and county trunk roads, sometimes there's no better way to get from here to there than to go right through a city. Such was the case the day the hitch traversed Albany, New York. It provided locals there with quite a contrast between the horsepower of yesteryear and the high-speed horsepower of today. The route through Albany, the capital of New York, took them right past the state capitol building, and even the governor's house. The governor of New York, Mario Cuomo, who considered running for president last year, also considered riding with a hitch, but at the last minute, state business kept him from doing so. A group of Russian businessmen who were visiting Albany that day did accept an offer to ride and found the hitch fascinating.
Yeah, very good. Welcome aboard, dear man.
The highlight of their ride for Vicky was when the Russian riders tried to teach her their homeland word for get out. The days grew into weeks. The weeks on the road became months, but every day was different. Some sunny, some rainy, but all enjoyable.
Great. To ride on here, who cares if we get wet?
This is the fourth time I've caught up with the team. We've been reading about it for about 4 months in the magazine and been waiting for it to come through. So.
Well, you know, they said they weren't coming through this part of Western New York, and I was real disappointed. And then all at once I found out they were going to be here. Boy, I said, I don't care what happens. I'm going to see that.
Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful day.
In each town along the way, David talks to the crowds that turn out, especially at senior centers.
We're glad to be in Springville, even if we got a little wet getting here. And this is one of them things. We never know if it's going to rain during our trip or not. A lot of people ask, what do you guys do when it rains? Well, I think we all found out what we did today. We let it rain. But I think you probably noticed our slogan on the long side of our wagon. It says, we are pulling for seniors. We are pulling for seniors. That's one of the great reasons that we came here. It's all about people.
What makes these visits to small towns even more festive is the high school bands and the local music groups that play as the team rolls in. Think these folks are enjoying themselves? The arrival of the hitch in small villages provides a reason for local folks to gather and have some fun. It's obvious it gives them a lift. In one small town, an elderly gentleman told the crew, "This is the greatest thing to happen here since the boys came back from the war." shine in every small town, day after day, the arrival of country's reminiscent hitch has local folks lining the streets like it's the 4th of July parade. Behind the scenes, the crew puts in long days, which includes buying fresh hay from local farmers along the way. Crewman Steve Zabornik tells how much these Belgians eat and drink in a day.
Yes, they would eat probably like 30 pounds of hay a day and about 30 quarts of grain a day. And they would probably might drink like 25 to 30 gallons of water a day. And that would depend on, of course, how much they're worked and how hot of weather it is out too. The people have been fantastic. The public has really appreciated us. This is probably the biggest thing that's happened to a small town in the USA.
Junior Kaufman describes his background.
I was born and raised on a farm. We had draft horses. I worked draft horses all my life. Used to plow, work in the field with draft horses. That's all we used. What I'd like to do someday is be in competition with showing 6 and 8 horse hitch.
Sometimes, not often, the crew gets to spend a few minutes alone. But soon the curious come, and the same questions begin again. Yet, as one crewman said, while the others nodded, we'd be disappointed if people didn't come and didn't ask questions. It shows they're interested in the hitch and glad that we came. It gives us a chance to teach a lot of people about draft horses and to revive a lot of fond memories for older people who grew up using them. We answer the same questions hundreds of times because there's a different group of people every day. But we never tire of it. In fact, we enjoy it. One thing the crew can always count on after a busy day on the road is a good meal. Crew cook Marlene Thompson is a great country cook, and the meals, the crew says, are delicious.
You know what, this has been so great, we're going to miss this little restaurant.
I came along on the trip largely because I really like the hitch. I am just horse crazy, always have been. And, quite frankly, I watched this hitch show all last year and was with them a lot. And I helped load and unload subscribers and people. I really enjoy that because especially the seniors, they're so overwhelmed by the hitch. There seems to be a bond between this hitch and seniors. And I really enjoyed that part of it.
This is quite a hitch, I'd say.
I think they're beautiful, and it was well worth my time coming down to see them.
Oh, I think this is wonderful. I'm really excited. Really excited. I'm so glad you came through here. You had to come back again today. I had to bring Mom and Dad back out to see them.
I really enjoy seeing the horses. I was brought up with work horses. And Dad would always use 3-horse hitches a lot to plow and run the wheat binder and things like that.
Oh, great. When I was on a farm, I was to get my left leg to have a horse like that.
You like some lemonade? Oh, I'd love some lemonade. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
This is my dad's tea, Becky.
Oh, this is great Rhone Belgian. Yep. That's what 6-horse hitches were all about in the 50s.
Rural restaurants along the route often insist that crew members stop in for a meal too.
Hi there. Good morning. Welcome to Earl's. Good morning to
I love to feed
people.
I remember about 3 weeks ago when you came out on the road and told me Earl is the place that you gotta be. And I tell you what, it looks like it. I couldn't wait to get in here and really see this great restaurant.
Well, David, we love people that are down close to the soil, and that's our lives. We've been farm people all of our lives till we started the restaurant, and we love your kind of folks, and particularly you going across the country and being so closely associated, you and Dave and Vicki, being so associated with the senior citizens. That's very close to our heart.
Sure, you'll put
I,
You might need a knife.
That is the biggest sweet roll I've ever seen in my life. No wonder they never forget once they're here.
I want value, and value I perceive is getting more than what you paid for. That's my philosophy, that's my life.
Vicki shows a young visitor part of what she does every day.
We're going to be in the parade here this evening, the Orchard Park Parade, which starts at 7 o'clock. So I'm just preparing the geldings' manes for them by putting a braid in them with ribbon. Manes are kind of sticky due to the humidity. Slows me down a little bit. The horses are handling this considerably well. On the days when it is more humid, it's a little harder on them. We notice that they need a few more breaks than usual. But in general, they're gaining a lot of muscle. They're holding their weight just beautifully. They seem to have a lot of energy when they get in parades and different kind of social activities where we have a lot of people and a lot of excitement going on. They seem to perk up and get in the spirit of things and realize it's time to put on a show for everybody. I'm having a blast. I love this. This is a dream come true for me. And I love all of the traveling and meeting the great people and seeing the different places in the world. And I feel very privileged to be on a trip like this, considering that I'm the youngest one in the group.
My name's Dan Bisbee. I'm from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I've been taking care of horses for around 30 years. I like to work. It's been nice so far. Same idea, working on a farm, getting up early in the morning, taking care of them before they have to go out. Stuff. Long hard days, yeah, 14, 16 hours a day. Starts about 5 o'clock in the morning. Go to 10 o'clock at night most of the time. I'd rather work with horses than I have people. Horses can't talk back to you, people can.
Dan Bisbee needn't have mentioned his love for horses. It shows through the actions of every member of the crew, including Cook Marlene. The rest of the crew says she kisses each of the horses on the nose about 10 times a day. When the crew hitches up the team each morning, the crowd closes in tighter to see how it's done. First, the wheel team is positioned in front of the wagon, then the swing team, and then the lead team. Crewman Jacob Lyon shares his feelings about the hitch.
Holding Magic and Chip, they're ready to start this parade. This hitch got me started on Belgians. I was a Percheron and Clydesdale man, but hey, when you spend 4 weeks with 6-horse hitch here, Country Reminisce hitch, you're a Belgian man.
Horses are beautiful. Thank you for being here. They're a great thing.
That's the most gorgeous setup that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them. Wow!
These Belgians are gorgeous. This hitch is just beautiful. It's fantastic. I can't say enough about it.
This is the coolest 4th of July we'll ever have in our life.
Each day on the road means being interviewed again, dealing with lines of people at the souvenir stand, where all the profits go to senior centers, and answering lots and lots of questions.
When you get done, you might want to sign a guest book before you
Put your
leave.
name and address.
Lois Garrett describes her typical day.
Where it comes from to see us. Well, I sell souvenirs is my main job. And then I drive the escort car, and Marlene rides with me, and we load the people on the wagon and help them off. It's a busy day, I mean, you know, between following the horses on the road, and then after we get in, then come right back there and start selling souvenirs. Oh, I like visiting with people, and I love traveling, so. And as I said, every day is different. There's no 2 days alike.
Today's July 4th. We're having a big parade, and then we're having fireworks, and we're also having music down in our pavilion.
A 4th of July celebration is always a big affair in a small town. But this year's celebration, the locals in this town said, was the biggest ever.
Smallest, biggest towns in the state of New York. Very well known for their parades. And they really take it to heart.
A small town parade like this is what it's all about. And this is what the whole trip from Maine to California is all about. Bringing some good, clean enjoyment to thousands of people across America by showing and sharing their hitch, the team with more owners than any team in the world, the more than 7 million subscribers to Ryman Publications magazine, who collectively own this magnificent team. 1993 marked the 50th anniversary of senior centers in the United States. In view of this, if these horses can give a lift to thousands of people, especially to seniors, while commemorating this anniversary, then this trip is worth doing. And the "We're Pulling for Seniors" slogan on the hitch wagon has merit.
This shows the difference from a big capital city to a little, very little town, and people still appreciate the great parade.
This 4th of July celebration in a small town in rural America provides a fitting end to this first leg of our journey.
And I'd like to bring forward a couple of the people that drove the team. With us this evening we have Dave Helmuth and Vicki Thompson, right?
We felt just as good being in the parade tonight as we did in the Pasadena Rose Parade. So these parades are fun, and it takes people like you to make them happen, and we love you. Thank you.
God bless this great country of ours. And God bless each of you for the part you've played in making this trip possible. You again, and that you'll ride along with us in our next film, which covers the wedding of Vicki and David, our trip through the Amish country of Ohio and Indiana, and our walk across Illinois before we cross the mighty Mississippi.